who could follow John Boehner that could hold Congress together? The Republican Party so fractured up there.
That's quite a question, Mike. I'd say the initial speculation would focus on Kevin McCarthy. I'm not sure he's ready for the job. I think there's one person who could unify the entire party, and that's Paul Ryan. But I think Ryan would rather work on tax reform. So it's a blank slate. Hard to say right now who replaces Boehner.
Greg, you have such a tapestry and culture of Republican and Democratic politics. I'm going to ask a question that I'm surprised I'm asking, but I think it's fair, folks, to ask it. Would you suggest that Speaker Boehner made this decision as he sat behind the Pope yesterday in Congress?
You know, Tom, that's the exact first thing that I thought.
Yeah, it's the first thing I thought.
Maybe he thought of bigger things in life and said to himself, do I really need this BS for the rest of the fall with all of these squabbling children? I think there's a connection between the Pope's visit.
Let's review this, please. This is a kid out of Cincinnati, out of Muller High School, which, Greg, you and I know when we were kids was a magical, almost mythical name of athletics. He was a linebacker, and there he is sitting with Joe Biden, who's just lost his son, behind His Holiness. And folks, I don't mean to speculate, but I'll be honest, Greg, you're the pro. It's the first thing I thought of when this shocking headline came across the Bloomberg.
Yep. So did I. Does he really want to mess with a continuing resolution later next week? I mean, it all sounds kind of petty after you've met with the Pope.
I mean, just remember, Mike, we've just learned that Speaker Boehner will speak at 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, we will have that for you, of course. Do we still have Phil Mattingly with us? Yes, Phil is still with us. Let me ask you, Phil. This all revolves around the efforts to pass some sort of continuing resolution to keep the government funded. Does this significantly raise the odds, then, that we will see a government shutdown next Thursday?
I actually think it does the opposite, Mike. And I think what you've seen over the last 2 weeks is Republican leaders, including Kevin McCarthy, including Paul Ryan, really coalesce around John Boehner's kind of inevitable decision that he will put up a bill to defund Planned Parenthood that will pass the House, have no future in the Senate, and then eventually have to resort to putting up a clean funding bill that does not defund Planned Parenthood, just to keep the government open and push that fight to a later date. His top aides, his top deputies are behind this. You've seen a good group of Republicans say that they're probably going to be behind this. I think the retirement of John Boehner actually makes it more likely that people kind of send him out on a high note as opposed to another situation where you have John Boehner trying to pass something with only 50 Republicans and 200 Democrats.
It's a cottage industry, folks. Julian Emanuel with us with UBS, usually doing equity strategy with Drew Madison Economics, but UBS is seriously taking a look at the probability of shutdown. Does it change in your eyes within the financial markets? Does it change given this resignation?
Well, we looked at the probability of shutdown in October as being around 30%, and then going out to December, which is probably the more critical deadline, as around 40%. I think cumulatively those probabilities rise, though perhaps Phil is right in thinking that October may not be as likely.
And Michael McKee, that's a little more measured, as I think you would think from a big securities house, investment banking house, versus Stan Collender, who's been way out front with higher numbers.
Well, Representative John Mica is saying Boehner does not want to become the issue, and yet, Greg Valliere, he did over so many years because he was the man in the middle. Without him, does the Republican Party go much, much farther to the right in and basically end lawmaking, because they will never get along with the Democrats in the Senate, end lawmaking for this session of Congress? Do we have Greg?
Well,
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a question for you, Greg.
Yes, let me just make this point. I think that Boehner could have easily gotten 60, 70, 80 Democrats to go along with a bill keeping the government open. Now, with Boehner gone, is this going to be Kevin McCarthy's first assignment to get all of these Democrats to vote with Republicans? So I disagree with my friend Phil. It was great, but I think this actually probably increases the chances that we could have a shutdown.
Phil, where is the middle ground that you observed day to day in the trenches on the House? Identify where the moderate Republican is this September of 2015?
Is there one?
I'm asking.
He's out of office. No, he or she is out of office. That's the. I mean, it sounds like I'm being sarcastic here, but I think that's the kind of realistic way things have gone right now. The so-called Tuesday group, the group of moderates that would get together on Capitol Hill, and often it would involve both parties, and they would talk about solutions and ways forward. That group, not unlike it has on the Democratic side with the Blue Dogs, has essentially been phased out.